right. Oh, okay. All right, not that one.
Okay, I'm going to try something that's potentially going to work or it's potentially not going to work. But we're going to do a very unique style on an interview with Andrew, the CEO of Autodesk. We're going to play Jenga. Alright, so they told me to make this a bit fun, so I took that literally. The interview is in these Jenga blocks.
Okay.
So on each Jenga block, we have interview questions. So we're going to play a game of competitive Jenga.
Okay.
While we do the interview.
So we'll take one out of here. There we go.
Is there a question on that one? It's not on everyone.
There's a question on it.
Alright, what's this one?
What was your dream job growing up? I wanted to work for NASA. I wanted to make spaceships.
Alright.
Yeah, that was my dream job. So I actually got to do it. I didn't make spaceships. I actually did get to work on one mission. I had a very tiny contribution.
What is one thing you'd want to see more university students doing?
One thing I'd like to see more university students doing. Well, I'd like to see more of them using Fusion. Right? I mean, I have to say that. I have to say that. But you know what I really want to see more university students doing is debating more and seeing both sides of an argument.
Okay.
And actually practicing taking the opposing side of an argument and trying to understand all the aspects of it. You know, my daughter, she's in debate right now, and they force her to study both sides of the argument. And she never knows when she goes to a competition if she's going to have to stand for an argument or oppose an argument.
Okay.
And I would like to see more people in universities practice that discipline. So I'm going to do what I told you not to do. All right. Advice for young people who are struggling to follow the typical path to success. Don't do it. All right. Look.
What should they do then?
Well, advice is cheap, right? That and $5 and you can go to Starbucks and you get a latte. But following the typical path, there are professions where you have to do that. Look, you want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
you got to check the boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to be a doctor? Yeah, you probably have to check the boxes. Okay, but in tech, don't follow the typical path to success. Find what you're good at, what you're excited about, and ask yourself, if I take this path, am I going to be able to make a difference? And if you honestly look at something and you look at it and you say, hey, I can do that, I'm passionate about it, but I can't make a difference, then don't do it. All right. But if you see something that you're passionate about, you can make a difference on, but you have actually no skill on it, well, see if you can skill up. All right, but don't go chase something you're not passionate about and you can't make an impact on. Too many people do that.
Right.
Oh, do I have to do it like that?
Yeah, it's
you mean you
supposed
can't?
to. But again, we're just talking about.
You're forcing me to follow the typical path.
Some games have rules.
This is true.
All right. How important is it to get a college/university degree?
Yeah,
This is important to me because I've technically dropped out of uni.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So, I'll just tell you something about me. I dropped out of high school. So, and then I went back to
fellow dropouts.
Yeah. So, because I didn't read the memo that most tech executives drop out of college.
Yeah.
But I did eventually go back to school. I think you've got to do what you think is right for you. Right? This whole notion that you have to follow this linear path, go to college, and do these things. And especially we ask kids to make that decision like 18 years old. I think people need to go to discover who they are. It all comes down to, do you have the ability, do you have the passion, and can you make a difference? Is a college degree required for all those things? No. Sometimes is it? Yes. I think people need to do what's right for them. And I think there's actually too much pressure in our society right now to specialize and check this box and do that. And I just think checking boxes doesn't actually change anything.
Fair point. Is your turn.
Oh, it is my turn. Yes, you're right. What purchase of up to $100 has most positively impacted your life? Wow, that's a good question.
That's a good one.
Well, actually, I just looked up at my sign. Impulsiveness is not a virtue. And by the way, so many people actually come to my office and argue with me about this.
Oh, really?
They say, oh no, impulsiveness can be a virtue. I say, no. You're confusing decisiveness and action with impulsiveness. Impulsiveness is always, by default, action without thought. And generally speaking, I think action without thought is not a good thing. All right, I'm going to go this way. And losing means like knocking the whole thing over, right?
Yeah. All right, what's this one?
Ooh, yeah, best sci-fi novel. I hate these bests. It's so hard. I hate bests. One of my favorites was Fountains of Paradise by Arthur C. Clarke. Okay, well, careful. You made a very daring choice there. You pushed that way when there's not a block there.
Oh.
So that was almost a tactical error.
All right. Here's a big one. What is your vision for Autodesk?
Ah, yes. The biggest thing I'm really pushing for with Autodesk is move from being a design software company to being a design make services provider.
Okay.
You know, and there's lots of things that means. It's allowing us to bring design and make decisions closer together.
Right.
There's a whole process that's built up inside of companies that try to get information about how you make something to the people that are designing it, so they don't do stupid things early in the process.
Yeah.
But technology in the future is going to arbitrate all of that. It's going to allow people to have a really highly facilitated conversation about what it takes to make something at the same time you're designing it. And I think it's going to allow people to come up with pretty amazing outcomes and pretty amazing ideas. And I think that's a big journey for Autodesk, and I think automation is going to get us there. We're going to actually stitch design and make together. I'd like to see a world where you're living on a planet where we can build all this stuff without leaving a mess behind. One left here. There we go. Oh, that was easy. There we go. I shouldn't have said that. It's sticking. All right. Let's see here. How is Autodesk making the world a better place? Autodesk, what's amazing about Autodesk, and it's why a lot of people love to work here, is that everything you see around you, everything, the buildings, the roads, the bridges, the products, everything, somebody used one of our products to do it. So we can have at Autodesk an amazing impact on how people do things. So it's actually stated in our vision that we really want to empower through automation people to make more things, but make them a lot better with a lot less negative impact on the world. And we can sit here and credibly say it. We can say, look, people that make the world that you live in, the buildings, the roads, the airplanes, everything, use our software to do it. If we can make our software more capable of helping them make better decisions, we actually do make the world better. We do actually make it possible for people to build more low-cost housing. We do actually help pollute the world less. We do actually make sustainable buildings that can actually power themselves and maintain their own existence without bleeding down the resources around them. So people come to Autodesk and work at Autodesk because they're really passionate about what our customers do, and we make the world better by making our customers make better, just helping our customers make better decisions.
Well, that's really gonna.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice, but you're committed. You're committed.
Committed.
Yeah. You're gonna make it really hard on me.
All right. What was one of the best investments you ever made? And this could be time, money, or energy.
Oh, come on, marry my wife.
There we go. Brownie points there.
All right. Oh. Okay. All right. Not that one.
You're going down.
I might not, actually.
Oh no, it's blank. Down.
Is it blank? Oh, I think you're going down.
Really want that one.
No, you can't do that one. That one's wedged in good. This one, actually, if you really want to set me up for failure, no, come on, do it. You can do it. Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, this is me. I technically have to let it go.
Oh, well played.
There's a few more questions if you find. How you going with time?
Let's see. I had a whole hour with you.
All right, here's a good one. What do you look for when you're hiring for a big role in Autodesk?
It depends on the role, all right? But I'll tell you, one of the things we look for is, Autodesk has got certain values and ways of working. So what we look for is, are they going to fit those values and ways of working? So for instance, one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to drive a cultural norm around, one Autodesk. We all try to chase one big outcome together, or a couple of big outcomes together. We don't try to undermine somebody else's outcome because we disagree with it. So we look for people that have a history of kind of, being decisive, not being consultative, but not necessarily consensus driven, but also know when to disagree and commit. So we look for that. We also look for people who know how to empower decision makers. If it's your project, and you're the one that's being held responsible for the outcome, I should support you in that.
Right.
All right, and I think it's important that I support you to that. The other thing we're looking for is people that can, function well and create a real environment that's inclusive and diverse. So we're trying very hard to make sure that the people that come into the company are comfortable in an environment like that, can thrive in it, and actually can have courageous conversations inside of that environment, so that we're all kind of like working on the same page and not trying to undermine each other. And so, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, so independent thinkers who can work well as a team.
Exactly. Nicely said. Star Wars or Star Trek? Star Trek.
Star Trek?
Totally.
I was told you're a Star Wars fan.
I like both of them, but
information.
Look, Star Wars is candy, Star Trek is intellectual food.
How has failure set you up for later success? Do you have a favorite failure?
Oh gosh, failure's the best teacher. I mean, there's just absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, I've learned more from my failures than I have from any one of my successes, because failure drives introspection, right? At least if you're not a megalomaniac idiot, where you think you didn't actually fail. Yeah, I got demoted once, and I had to ask myself, how did I end up getting demoted, and what drove it? One of the big things I learned from that experience is that you're only as good as the team that you have working for you. If you hire in the wrong person, or you bring in the wrong types of people, you're not going to be successful. I mean, this idea that, especially in a large company, or even in a startup company, by the way, you're only as good as the team you work with. You are only as good. And if you don't have a good team, if you don't pay attention to how the team works together, you're just not going to be successful. There is no individual on the planet that can carry the whole weight of it all on their shoulders. It's just impossible. So I learned, very early on about, hey, boy, how do you make sure that you're paying attention to hiring and who you hire and what you hire? And I learned that lesson from a failure. I got demoted.
Right.
I got demoted almost 1 or 2 levels down. I was not happy. As I've matured through my career, I've developed a personal ethos, and there's 3 things about the ethos I say. It's courage, scholarship, and empathy. And courage is having the ability to make difficult decisions and do difficult things, even when you know that it could have negative impacts on somebody or something. Empathy is the ability to understand what those impacts might be, all right, and really being able to find a connection. Like, for instance, if I had to do something that was incredibly important to the company, but was going to have an incredibly intense effect on your job, I need to know that, right?
Right.
And I need to be able to have a conversation with you about, look, I know this is going to impact your job, and it could impact your job negatively, but here's what I'm going to try to do to help you, get past this and through this. And the scholarship piece is, look, courage and action without knowledge is, sometimes a bad politician.
Yeah.
All right, and you can't act courageously without understanding the climate or situation you're in, because you're bound to do something stupid. So be courageous, study up, understand what you're trying to do, and then apply empathy. And I think I've learned all of that by messing things up.
That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, I'm thinking about some of my own things. I think scholarship is definitely something that I need to focus more on, because I'm very good at doing that. Yeah, let's go do that. Let's do this. But I can definitely see studying up would just really help me along.
Look, we all just want to go. Sometimes you got to pause.
And sometimes you do need to
Sometimes you just need to go. Too much knowledge is a bad thing. You always want to study just enough, but not too much. If you know too much, you'll paralyze yourself.
How do you know when you've done just enough?
You know enough that you found the potential failure points of your idea.
Okay.
But if you start backing off and getting afraid of your idea, you're probably studying too much.
Okay. Yep, that's a good way to say it.
All right.
Awesome. That's that.
Take care. Pleasure. Fun game.